How do you want to be remembered by your audience in the broader landscape of?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Do you really not care?
I don't care.
Why?
I don't care what other people think of me. I've always said my mission in life is to go through life being a good person. And I think I've achieved that. I've been a good son, a good grandson, a good husband, good father, good brother. And if that doesn't speak enough about who I am, then I don't care. I've never gone on my way to screw anybody over. I've never hurt anybody. I've always been, if you're a neighbor of mine, you love me because I'm never going to bother you or play loud music or get on your ass about anything. So, and like I said, I have a great family. I've been good to everybody in my family, and everybody's been good to me. I got no complaints. Mm-hmm. So I don't care what people think about me. Like, people say, oh, his show. Like, people say, oh, his show's just like the Jerry Springer Show. And I go, well, then you've never seen my show.
Right.
You have no idea. And people say, oh, you exploit people come on our show. I go, we're not asking people to come on the show. We don't force people to come on. People want to come on the show. And I would guess, except the people that really felt miserably for being exposed for terrible things they did, most people have a really positive experience coming on the show.
Right. Okay. Well, it sounds like you want to be remembered for doing the right thing, being a good guy.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah. But again,
you don't give a shit.
I don't I care what my mother thinks about me.
Right.
I care what my wife thinks about me.
And your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, again, I would never do anything to hurt you or, screw anybody over. I'm not trying to be a con man. Like, I'm a pretty open and honest person. Unfortunately, that gets me in trouble because I don't want to bullshit anybody. And sometimes when I tell them the truth, it hurts.
Right.
But
I'm just curious, actually, because we have an election coming up, and you were somebody that worked in Chicago in the police department and in the military. What are your thoughts about this political arena we're in?
I think it's terrible. What my biggest concern is whoever the next president is going to be, are they going to be tough enough? You see where Iran now is shipping weapons to Russia and what's going on with Israel and things going on our own college campuses where people are, anti-Semite, Semitic. And it scares me that there's so much hate. But I think countries view us as being weak, and they're starting to do things that, attacking Israel, shipping to Iran. Iran's always testing the limits with everybody. And that scares me because I served in the Marines. My dad served in the Army, but, I wouldn't want to send my son off to a war.
Right.
And I don't think anybody wants to do that, send their sons and daughters off to a war. So I hope that whoever gets in will be really strong in dealing with these situations around the world and say, you're not going to mess around with us.
Yeah, it is scary. And it's scary to think of, I have a 12-year-old daughter, what she's kind of growing up, kind of world she's going to have in her kids,
when 9/11 happened, me and my wife had just got married. We were married like a year. Mm-hmm. And that day with 9/11, which is 2 days or 1 day, I said, do we really want to bring kids in the world? Like that event, like almost made me not want to have kids because I was scared to bring kids in the world.
Yeah.
I think people nowadays starting families must be thinking the same thing.
They must be. Yeah. It is very interesting. It's been, 24 years now?
Yeah, 23.
23 years. And the thing is like, until something like that happens again, it's almost like people do forget, except for the ones that really went through it.
And history repeats itself, right?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But it does seem like there's a lot more divisiveness. Everybody within our country seems to be hating each other, and that makes it even worse.
It's crazy. If you say you're voting for X and you're friends with somebody, they might say, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you're voting for X. Which to me
I'm a New Yorker who moved to Florida, and imagine it was just, I see people, it's MAGA where I live. I live in Palm Beach where Trump lives, and if you even question the slightest thing, you get pushed out, or there's fights that
I say all the time, Jerry was a Democrat. I'm a Republican. Mm-hmm. We'd have discussions all the time. Discussions.
Right.
Never heated.
Right.
Never, I don't like you, Jerry, anymore. Or I don't like you, Steve, anymore. We were two adults having conversations.
Well, people don't listen anymore. That, I think, is the problem. Because
why does everybody have to, if you say you're for somebody and they go, well, you're an idiot, then, Why? We all have to think the same?
Right.
We can't have differing opinions?
Yeah.
Like, geez, to me, that's insanity.
Yeah, and people, I think, forget that everyone comes up with their own experience, their own reason for having their thoughts. And it's like we were talking about at the beginning of the interview about respect. There's not a lot of people that have a lot of respect anymore. It's a shame. It really is.
Just for having a different viewpoint.
Yeah.
And why do we use such divisive terms to begin with, right?
Yeah.
It just be your time. You know, it was funny. I was watching an old debate between Romney and Obama, and they were so civil to each other. You know, like even joking with each other. Those days are gone, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. I had Rudy Giuliani on my show, and my mother stopped speaking to me, which is crazy.
Which is insanity.
It's my own mother.
Yes.
And I only had him on to talk about 9/11 because we share that experience together. I wanted to hear his experience versus mine. And it was so triggering to her that we haven't spoken.
My wife told me that one of her friends stopped talking to her mother because her mother was going to vote for Trump. And the daughter will now have nothing to do with her mother.
Right.
Like, I can't, you know, we talk about how craziness between Springer and my show. To me, there's nothing crazier. Like, my mother could kill somebody, and I'm, you know, that's my mother.
Yeah.
I love my mother. I'm never going to not talk to my mother.
Right.
Like, I don't care if she says she's voting for Putin. You know what I mean? Like, I love my mother, and I'm going to, you know.
Right.
Okay, Mom, you're crazy, but I still love you.
Right, exactly. Oh, my gosh. All right, so tell people where they can watch the Steve Wilkos
So the show's
show.
syndicated. It's all over the country, but like in New York here, we're on PIX, Chicago CIU. So you just got to go to stevewilkos.com, check the local listings on it.
It starts September 23rd, yeah?
That's the season premiere, season 18.
5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Always at different hours in different cities?
Well,
or?
different, like, I know, like in New York, we come on at noon.
Okay.
In Chicago, we come at 10 a.m. So everywhere's different.
Is there some show that you are up against and that's your biggest competitor, or you are?
You know what? I used to know that, and I used to care. I don't care anymore.
Okay. But I mean, in terms of 1 hour talk shows like yours.
Yeah, but like, so I don't even know who's around anymore.
Yeah, I can't even.
Like, everybody was like, a couple
You're not
years
up
ago, it
against
was
like Kelly Clarkson and those people.
No, because we're owned by the same company.
Okay.
But I might air, because she's on NBC and I'm on syndication, so
Right.
I go up against her. But like a couple of years ago, like Rachel Ray and Dr. Phil and everybody left. Ellen left. So like who's left? There's Drew Barrymore, there's Kelly Clarkson, there's
Tamron
Sherry
Hall,
Shepherd,
maybe?
Tamron Hall. There's not a lot left.
No, and yours seems different than theirs.
And of traditional talk shows, I'm the longest running.
Right.
So I'm the king.
You are the king. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.